Hey, read through the word. It's February. See? Here we go. It's John 3:16. February 4th is today. Today's lesson is called Firstborn. And this is when so many times I wish I had you like sitting around for us to talk about. And this is one of those lessons. Okay. You'll notice in your notes, you've got some big chunks that I wanted to use in the middle of all this. So, now, y'all know the secret to read through the word is I'm not recording every single day. So, I record. I try to stay ahead and get some things recorded. But I'm recording on a Sunday afternoon. And my pastor, or one of our pastors at our church, preached today about the we're going through the book of Mark, and so he's preaching right up to the Lord's Supper. So up until when Jesus tells John and Peter to go into town, and you'll see a man with a water pitcher, and then tell him we have need of the room and all that. So that's where we are. So we had this discussion about Passover, and I thought, knowing I was coming to record this afternoon, it was just really, really great sermon about the sovereignty of God was what today's was. But I wanted to take a look at, our lesson is called Firstborn. And so we're going to be talking about the final plague of Egypt. And what is going on here. So we are in Exodus. First, we're in chapter 11, verses 4 through 8. It says, Moses had announced to Pharaoh, "This is what the Lord says. At midnight tonight, I will pass through the heart of Egypt. All the firstborn sons will die in every family in Egypt, from the oldest son of Pharaoh, who sits on his throne, to the oldest son of his lowliest servant girl, who grinds the flour. Even the firstborn of all the livestock will die. Then a loud wail will rise throughout the land of Egypt, a wail like no one has heard before or will ever hear again. But among the Israelites, it will be so peaceful that not even a dog will bark. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between the Egyptians and the Israelites. All the officials of Egypt will run to me and fall on the ground before me. Please leave, they will beg. Hurry and take all your followers with you. Only then will I go." Then, burning with anger, Moses left Pharaoh. And then go down to chapter 12, verses 12 and 13. It says, "On that night, I will pass through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn son and firstborn male animal in the land of Egypt. I will execute judgment against all the gods of Egypt, for I am, I am the Lord. But the blood on your doorposts will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you are staying. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt." Okay, so much to talk about. So, at the beginning of the book of Exodus, so that was just a couple of days ago, Pharaoh had issued a decree that all male Hebrew babies be killed. And the Hebrew midwives were ordered to kill them immediately when they were born. But they chose to obey God rather than man. So this plague, there was some justice there. But remember, the same night that God brought death to every house in Egypt, he also visited the home of every Israelite family. All firstborn sons would die. So if we look back at the other plagues, and I think I've discussed this before about how each plague correlates with one of the gods of the Egyptians, and once you get to the death of the firstborn, you're dealing with, this goes directly to against Pharaoh himself, because Pharaoh considered God, and his son is considered firstborn, is the next Pharaoh considered a god. So you're looking at that's going on. But as we looked at the other plagues of Egypt, every single one of them had not been on the Israelites until this one. There is a Lego, like a Lego Exodus that's out there. I might have the DVD around here somewhere. My kids out. We had the Jericho one and then the Exodus, and they do such a great job of, even with the Legos, like making a difference between what it looked like, because the plagues had visited the Egyptians, but the Israelites were safe in Goshen. Remember? Different, separate, set apart. But they may have thought, oh, look at you Egyptians, it's all happening to you. That they were more righteous and undeserving of punishment. But this plague showed that they were all sinners that deserved judgment. But God, in his mercy, provided a way for his people to escape death. In 12 verses 6 and 7, it says, take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of this month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter their lamb or goat at twilight. Is that right? 6 and 7. They are to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the animal. And then down in verse 23, it says this: for the Lord will pass through the land to strike down the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the top and the sides of the door frame, the Lord will pass over your home. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house and strike you down. The firstborn Israelites were not saved I've had this talk with y'all a lot about how we think that Old Testament salvation, New Testament salvation are different things. Understanding that the God of the Bible, who wrote the Bible, stands outside of space and time. Therefore, all things, past, present, future, he knows, he sees, he's planned. He has all of these. Now, we have a response, but he has. And so, these Israelites were saved by grace, something they did not earn, through faith, as they placed the blood of the lamb over the doorpost, so down the side and across the top. They did not clearly see what this meant. They obeyed by faith. I think about this all the time about salvation. I know myself. So those who have heard me talk about this in person is thinking, I grew up in the church thinking I was a good little girl that checked all the boxes. And then my understanding of my salvation and that growth and sanctification of what that looked like. But it's salvation is by faith. They did not understand what this meant. They know that God said, this is how you're saved. Do you believe me or not? And their belief was shown, their faith was shown by putting the blood on the sides and the lintels and the frame of the door. And I think that's what, if we look at it, because really what they're seeing is God would, this same idea that God is saving their firstborn by offering the blood of his own firstborn. This was a picture of that. He would offer the blood of his own firstborn, and the death angel would not pass over him. And this is a picture of that. And I think that understanding salvation, if we look at that and we understand that we are saved by grace through faith, it's that same picture. We don't fully understand what the cross of Jesus, we'll never understand completely. And we talked about this in my Sunday school class this morning, about how every time you read the Bible, you discover more about God and his goodness and his plan, and you understand that he is the point, and that his grace and his mercy to undeserving sinners there's just no words for it. Other than, that's the reason why Amazing Grace, that song, gets us. There's no other words for that. And so that same amazing grace and same faith that we see as salvation through Jesus, we don't see Jesus on the cross. We believe by faith that God did what he said he did. It's the same with them. They believe by faith. And it was this picture of, I know one of our great discussions I usually have in people's classes, like, were there people in Israel who didn't put the blood on the door? Now, we read through this, I want you to pay attention. The plagues took an entire year. We're so used to watching the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston that we think the plagues are one night this, one night. No, it's a whole year. So a whole year of watching all of this happen. You've seen blood, you've seen darkness, you've seen frogs, you've seen, I can't stand frogs. You've seen all of that. When you get to this, you're like, I believe God. And it is that as we read and go through all of this, and I think tomorrow our lesson is a lot the same, but always be looking for the clues that God has given about his plan. This is a big one. Because I think we treat Passover as this like plan A and it didn't work, so Jesus came along. No, Jesus is plan A. There is no plan B. The plan from the beginning. The Lamb of God slain from the foundation of the earth. This is just a picture that shows us the grace and mercy of God for the people he loves. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.